Angel Ribo, known in the world of business here in the US as the CEO confidant, and known in Latin America as the president and co-founder of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation. As you know, we help underprivileged kids in Latin America become entrepreneurs using their local resources. And today we have two very special guests. We have Charmaine Hammond and Michael Mankowski. Welcome, both of you, okay?
Thank you.
For having us on.
Absolutely. And let me do something that before introducing you, actually, I'm going to show something because I think it's really relevant. It's going to set the stage properly for the conversation we're going to have later. I think it's a great summary. With your permission.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Here's the latest on the Fort McMurray fire.
Dramatic shift in the wind.
Fire shifted direction.
We are strong, and we will keep doing our job.
The Fort McMurray wildfire, the impact was awe-inspiring, really, the power of Mother Nature. This was something Canada had never seen before. It's hard for the human heart to realize how much is lost.
This is a community that's faced an unthinkable chapter in its history, and catastrophic events have an impact on our mental health.
I was born and raised in Fort McMurray. We were first affected by the economy, the downturn in oil prices, then the wildfire, then the floods, then COVID.
What does recovery look like for a community? What does it look like for a family? And what does it look like for an individual?
I wanted to make a film that could help people by creating conversation and awareness around mental health. I wanted to give back to my community and telling a story of coming back home. I had so many powerful untold stories in our community, and I felt a documentary about this subject matter might be too heavy. I wanted this film to be relatable for children, so I took those stories and I rewrote them from the perspective of animals.
Wood buffalo forest is still evacuating and still under the constant threat of the beast.
We talked to a lot of mental health experts about the use of animation to break down barriers and give people comfort.
Michael was alongside of our teams, hearing people's voices about their experiences.
In the very foundation of this project was careful consideration and the gathering of experts to really consider what the weight would be.
And I wanted to make sure that we had all the diversity of Fort McMurray represented.
I'm so relieved to know my wife and son are safe.
This is the largest ensemble of award-winning Canadian actors in any film. And they all donated their time. They all wanted to give back to their country of Canada.
There are many animals all over the world that are calling you firefighters heroes.
I don't consider myself a hero. All the emergency responders, the police, volunteers that have left their homes, they are the real heroes to me.
Jeremy Renner, who voices a character in the film, also sings an amazing song at the end.
A new day rises from the ashes. A new hope rises from the pain.
This is a story about a community. It's a resilience movie. It talks about coming home, finding your community there.
I envision it as a healing journey for community members and families and schools.
Watch it with somebody so that you can talk about your experiences.
This is a non-profit project that I hope to use to raise funds for Canadian Mental Health Association of Fort McMurray. I hope this inspires everyone to talk about mental health. This is really a personal love letter to my hometown of Fort McMurray with Buffalo.
Well, I think you're muted. We didn't want to miss.
You
we didn't want to miss what you were saying.
Exactly. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't myself generating any noise because the trailer, I think it's so powerful.
It is.
It really
Thank
summarizes in a great way. You know what happened. And what I was saying is funny, because I was saying that the gentleman that had a blazer you know, in that trailer is actually, believe it or not, it's Michael. It's Michael Mankowski who's here with a cap. So again,
this is more my traditional wear, is streetwear. Monday to Friday. Yeah.
Wonderful. So he is the screenwriter and obviously the person that is behind all this idea, this amazing project. And as he said at the end, you know, it's a nonprofit project. So he's really trying to do great things in the community and in Canada in general. And Charmaine Hammond, who I have known for a few years now, she's the executive producer, and she's an incredible soul as well. So again, welcome both of you to Expansion Network. Maybe let me start asking you, what was I mean, obviously, everything that has happened in Fort McMurray, when you go back in time, you say, oh my God, what's going on there, right? I mean, what, and you are from there, right, Michael?
Yeah, I am born and raised, yeah.
Exactly. So what's the explanation that you find inside yourself? Why do you think that you have had to face so many challenges, all the people originally from Fort McMurray?
You know, Fort McMurray is a community in the center of the boreal forest, so it's very isolated, and you know, there's wildfires every year around the community. Even, you know, I always remember growing up with, you know, hearing the scares of that, and even prior to the evacuation, a week before that, there was a large fire. So it's and you know, and floods, and so. And then they were affected by the economy, obviously, and you know, then the fire and the floods, and then COVID. So Fort McMurray is a community that's been definitely hit hard, but it's a community that I love. It's very close to my heart. Supported my business for many years and gave me opportunities that I think I never would have gotten anywhere else in the world. So I really wanted to make this for the community as a love letter and to show my support, because I was working with the Red Cross during the re-entry, the 1 year and the 2 year anniversary. And I thought I could make a film as a conversation starter for mental health.
And obviously you, Charmaine, you were so involved in the creation of all of this, right? So did you know each other before? How did you get together?
So funny story. I love sharing this story. Yeah. So I knew Michael's mom for years and years, went through the school division that she worked with. So I had done training for that school division, and I lived in Fort McMurray actually for 15 years, not at the time of the fires, but was up there after the fires. I was brought back by the school divisions and a number of nonprofit organizations to help them with their resilience training, the recovery efforts, and the community resilience projects. And so everybody was saying, you need to meet this Michael Mankowski. He's got this incredible screenplay. You're a writer, Charmaine. You'll just be so interested. So we got together for dinner. I remember that meeting vividly. Earl's Restaurant. Yeah. And I'm not kidding you, 15 minutes into Michael sharing his story, but more so sharing the why. When he just talked about right now, why he wanted to do this movie, I just knew I wanted to be involved. I've worked in the mental health system for many, many years, and really thought that there's opportunity for collaboration and partners to come involved. So my role as executive producer has been supporting Michael so he could make this incredible, amazing movie. So I'm working with CMHA to help create educational materials, and worked on the funding and sponsorship for the movie, and managing all those relationships that happen when you're engaging community and partners and sponsors and funders. And I must say that working with Michael has been, you know, such a highlight for me in my life. And I've learned more in these last 5 years. The biggest learning is that this movie is so important now in the world, because everybody is experiencing some level of stress or mental health because of the pandemic. So the timing for this story to come out into the world is really now.
Totally. And I also tend to believe myself that when someone has really suffered a lot, when someone has faced a lot of challenges, I think, number one, that they see the world in a different way. Number two, that they learn so many lessons. Yeah. So I loved it when you told me what the project was about, because if someone has learned lessons, it must have been the population of Fort McMurray in Canada. You know, I mean, really, look at the world, right? I mean, look at the world, even what's going on right now. I mean, it's difficult to probably find people more resilient than you guys in Fort McMurray, don't you think, Mike?
Oh, definitely. Actually, that's a lot of the reason why I wanted to make this is I felt a lot of the, media and the news that was coming around the wildfire didn't represent our community accurately. And I thought it was a great opportunity to focus not on the disaster, but on the story of coming back and rebuilding together as a community.
I also love the fact that you chose to explain it for the kids, for the children. As you heard in my introduction, I mean, obviously, I'm very, very sensitive about the future of this world and the kids' education. And I love the way that you decided to explain the story. What was your reasoning? Why did you decide, okay, so we're going to make it in a way in which it's going to resonate first and foremost with the kids? Why?
Ultimately, I recorded hundreds of testimonials of people that were affected by wildfires, and I wanted to rewrite those from the perspective of animals as a way to soften some of the stories for children. So but I also wanted them still to be emotional enough to move the parents. So it was a fine line that, we worked on for years of rewrites and worked with Charmaine and, 30 mental health professionals and doctors and teachers and play therapists. And, we reviewed the color theory of this film and the character designs and the storyboards, and it just kept evolving. But really the goal was to make this for families is the way I think of it. So, I do think this is for children, but I think the way we can really get the most impact out of this is if we can watch this as families and have that conversation afterwards.
Charmaine, when was it premiered?
Well, we just got back from the Edmonton International Film Festival, October 2nd, 3rd, and 9th. We had a number of screenings there. We won an award. The Back Home Again movie won the jury award for Best Animation Alberta. And then next week, Michael, Vancouver Spark Animation Film Festival. So we have a number of film festivals, and then we'll be rolling this out through community screenings. And the request for community screenings is rolling in. We have so many schools that want to be able to incorporate this into their curriculum and to be able to inspire conversations in the classroom. And what Michael just said was so important about, those conversations with families. And we're also looking at partnering with a number of workplaces to actually host the movie as a sort of a lunch and learn, because we know that when moms and dads, when parents watch the movie, they'll go home and have that dinner time or drive time conversation with their family about mental health, resilience, hope, and community.
Obviously, you have already had the first reactions from the public, right? What's the first thing that they say?
Well, I think it was overwhelmingly positive. Okay. We were able to get actually 5 showings at the Edmonton International Film Festival, live showings. So it was, this is the first time a short has been given its own showing separate from, a group category, which usually happens at film festivals. So to watch it, in your own theater with, people just coming to your movie it was so emotional for me. And everyone was so kind and seemed to really love the movie. And, we had such a diverse crowd come as well, from not only people from Edmonton, but people traveling up from Fort McMurray or people from Calgary and all around who had had seen the fire as well, or helped someone, from the fire. So we had some kids there, and it was a wonderful week. Yeah. It was one of the best highlights of the last 5 years to finally launch it there. It was very exciting.
Yeah. There was a couple of students there, Michael, that just spoke to me on such a profound level. They were both 9 years old, and one of them, they were waiting in line to talk to Michael because, of course, he's got this crowd of people. And the 9-year-old said, Charmaine, we need to show this movie in every school, because she said, I live in Alberta. I live in the province, 5 hours away from Fort McMurray. And I didn't even know a lot of these things in terms of how big the fire was and that you could see it from space. And so there was all of these parts of the movie that she felt were critical as a student to learn about the province and the country they live in. The other 9-year-old said to me, this movie is so important because she said, I think it's about mental health. She said, I think the movie is to get us to talk about mental health, and we all need this because of the pandemic. So just hearing the pieces, the sort of the backstory that families and these 2 students were feeling and observing. And certainly I heard the same thing, overwhelmingly positive feedback. And we've heard from a number of people that actually are from the community, and the comments from them are things like, you've really represented our community so well. In the movie, there's an incredible amount of diversity reflected, which Michael did very intentionally, because it is probably the most diverse community I had ever lived in. And so Michael put a lot of care and attention to that. And, people noticed, and people, I think, appreciated this personal element that Michael brought to the film.
And speaking of diversity, obviously it's incredible when you see all the names of all the people that volunteered or to help, right? I mean, when I was reading the names, to be very honest, I mean, I have lots of friends in Canada, but I didn't know that all those actors and actresses were actually from Canada. How did you do that, Michael? How do you, from such an incredible project, how are you able to really engage with these people and convince them, hey, please help me out?
Yeah, well, every actor is someone I idolized growing up, and I had a relationship with Tom Green prior to this project, and John Schneider has had a long relationship working with Tom, and we're actually we're gearing up to work on another film when that was just when I was evacuated from the community. And ultimately, shortly after that, John called on me and asked how I was doing. And, I had a hope of inspiration, and I asked him if Tom would be willing to do a voice for this project. And Tom became the first voice. And after that, we just started dreaming together one by one of someone I idolized. We would talk about it, and we would go after it together. So it was just, it was a long process, but, everyone was carefully picked. Kim Basinger, she lost her house in the wildfire in California. Martin Short was evacuated the day, we recorded with him, and even the actors would do so much where I feel like they would bring the characters that I filmed to life. Marlon Wayans is doing an Angola accent, just like the family that I recorded in real life. So it was just really such a cool experience. Cool, it doesn't even justify it. It was a dream come true to have all these people I love, representing my community.
Mm-hmm.
And you explained it very well before when you said that the world probably has never needed us today, as in today, right? To talk about mental health openly. And organizations, and I obviously work with organizations every single day. Organizations desperately need to have this conversation every single day. But you know what the thing is? Okay, you've done this. You've done this amazing. What comes next, Mike? What comes next? Oh my God, right?
Yeah.
Have you thought about it?
Oh yeah, I put a lot of thought into what comes next. I'm just so happy to finally release this. We've been working on this for 5 years. So that is definitely the focus right now. But I do have, I've been working on some other stories, and really ultimately I hope to tell stories that matter and make a difference, with animation. And I think we have a great team that could do this again. And whether it's, I don't even want to say too much about the certain ideas we're working on, but the main goal is to use animation to tell stories that matter, and hopefully through that inspire conversations.
Yeah.
Excellent. Charmaine, how can we help you? How can everybody that is watching us today, and they will eventually, watch us on Roku TV and Amazon Fire TV, what's the best way to help you guys?
Thank you for that. We would love people to watch the trailer that you showed, which is The Heart of Back Home Again. And we have an official movie trailer out now as well. And we would love to get eyes on that trailer, because we know then people will go and have a conversation about it, or they'll share it with their community, which may inspire a conversation. That's the one way I think that people can really help. And certainly if you're looking to have a virtual screening or want to be able to bring this to your school or your workplace, get in touch with me. We're working on setting these up, because as Michael said, this was all created to help people heal, to help people feel hope and a sense of community, and to inspire those dialogues about mental wellness.
Excellent. What's the best way to reach out to you, Mike, for people that want to know more, people that want to help you, people that have those amazing stories that maybe you would like to bring to life?
Yeah. Alien Cow is my Instagram handle, as well as, any of the Back Home Again movie channels as well are probably the best way to get a hold of me and follow our story and to have that conversation if anyone out there wants to have that as well.
Excellent. Anything else that you would like to add, Charmaine?
Just thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you today. As you can tell, Michael and I are so passionate about this project. We've got an amazing team, and just want to remind people that with everything we're going through right now and navigating through in the world, just to remember that it's okay to ask for help. And Michael and I always talk about, one of our mental health partners says, it's also okay not to be okay all the time. And so just to take day by day, get the help we need, reach out and be a support for somebody else who might need your guidance or support.
Absolutely. As I like to put it, keep on bringing connection to the unconnected, because there's a lot of people right now which are totally unconnected. And it doesn't have to be necessarily physically, right? We are so unconnected right now with everything that's happening in the world. Again, thank you very much, Charmaine, for being here. Thank you for allowing us to get to know Mike and this incredible, creativity that he brings with him. Thank you so much, Mike. It's been a real pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah,
absolutely. And everybody, by the way, on the copy, on the text that goes along with the post, you will see a direct link to the trailer, so you can see it very easily in there. And nothing else, just to say, please go there, watch it, subscribe to the channel. By the way, the alien cow that he mentioned, cow is with a K, so you don't get confused, it's with a K. And absolutely, of course, anytime. And again, everybody that's been with us today, thank you very much. I'm sure that you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we have here at Expansion Network. I hope that you have a great rest of the day and a great weekend. Hope to see you soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.